Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us again here on the Raymond Hall Show. We have a packed show today full of information. I have Mrs. Errecca Flynn Walker to my right, and we are absolutely honored to have Ms. Felica Jones, Director of Services Director of Programs at Healthy African American Families too, located in the community. So how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling legendary yet fabulous.
Okay, well, it's always good to feel both legendary and fabulous.
Legendary and fabulous. It's a great combination.
Miss Jones.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me today.
To the show, the Raymond Hall Show.
And I and the show would be remiss if we did not say we hope your mom feels better.
Oh, I'm sure she will.
Yeah,
she will. We're gonna be praying for her.
They came a little early, and so we wanted her to come back, but we definitely want her to be feeling well, of course. We have a fabulous show today. Our topic today, our feature topic, is on cancer.
Yes.
Prevention, treatment, and there's going to be an all-day workshop.
Conference.
Yes. On that. So we're going to be talking about that. And there is so much going on in the news and trending. Mrs. Walker always brings us interesting stuff that's trending and news from not only around the nation, but right here at home.
Right.
So we want to get to that trending and news session first before we get to the feature thing. So what's today's topic?
Today's topic that is trending comes out of Vanity Fair magazine. It's the news. And I'd like to say hello, welcome, and thank you to our guest, to Mr. Hall, and to all of the listeners to the Raymond Hall Show, where you can follow us at Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at the RaymondHallShow.com.
Which is a good thing.
Which is a really good thing, and we would love for you to follow us because we need followers. We need people to be our audience members. What I'm going to talk about today is Donald Trump rapidly is reshaping our nation's courts. That's my trending topic.
Okay.
That the nation's courts are being retrended as we sit here and speak together. It may be the most radical transformation in a generation. So how come nobody's reporting on it?
That seems to be the hallmark of this administration.
Yes.
There's so much foolishness going on to the right, and it's like the dirt is going on to the left. With the left hand, while the smoke and mirrors with the right is the
Well, they want to keep you distracted.
Right. So we have to be aware of that. So this trending topic is basically that two recent pieces in Business Insider and The New Yorker are among a few to underscore the Trump judicial machinery at play. His machinery is at play. While you over there looking at over here, the machinery of the judicial system that is going to shape the next generations of our people and our sisters and brothers, it's in play. It's needed. We are reminded Thursday, since public ignorance about the legal system, it's apparently assumed to be so deep that most media outlets yesterday offered a civics 101 definitions of the foundation of the institution.
Wow. Okay. So, we remember when they were up in arms and they did not want President Barack Obama to do his job by appointing the Supreme Court jurors.
Exactly.
That was his job.
They actually held it hostage.
Yes.
Right.
They did not want to do that, and now, so here he is.
His machinery is at work. So pretty much President Barack Obama had nominated just 4 district judges, 5 appeals courts judges, and 13 U.S. attorneys. In total, Trump, on the other hand, whose machinery is at hand, has nominated 55 people.
Wait a minute.
And Obama just 22 during his term.
During his whole term, 22 people.
And
Trump has been in office for a matter of months, and he has 55.
And this is in the judicial system, which we're not talking about. We don't talk about that. These are the laws and the governances of our land that we live in.
Right.
They are being reshaped right now by certain, entities.
It's being reshaped by that
and it's being done quietly.
And Why
So
is
this
it so
is why
quiet?
our community has to be aware, and we have to understand the impact of that and what it looks like. Just in the state of California, we have the largest percent of incarcerated population and minority populations, the largest, and it's owned by privatized corporations.
Exactly.
So we have to think about what that looks like for us as a people.
Right.
Yes.
And so when we think about this underlying impact in our community, when he's appointing these offices,
Yes.
you know, in this judicial system
Yes.
across the nation,
Across the
for
nation.
people of color,
Yes.
what does that look like?
What
So
does it
we
look
have
like?
to begin to educate and have these conversations.
Yes,
So
we do.
use your social media, your outlets,
Yes.
to understand what does that look like? What does our government system look like? And get out there and start to talk about. Go out there and start to show up at these places,
At these meetings,
and
when there's
send your
town hall
letters
meetings
to
and
your
local government.
local government,
Your-
because you need to let your voice be heard.
You absolutely do.
You know, I'm going to plug something right now because Healthy African American Families too is quite a unique organization.
Yes, it is. It's a beautiful organization.
And
it's right in the heart of the city. It's right in the heart of it.
right. What you all do is past service
Thank you.
because it has to do with liberties that may or may not be afforded if the people aren't aware.
Exactly.
And so I would invite everyone to be very supportive. I don't care what coast you're on all of those organizations that's bringing the information to the community, to your community.
To your community. This is Vanity Fair where I read this article.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Because that's serious.
is that serious?
55 people in a matter of months.
55 judicial judges, attorneys, and appeals court judges. And it
Appeals court,
says appeals court judges. And also one of the people that he is installing Supreme Court clerkship and a stint as a Solicitor General Alabama, where they excelled at defending the state's imposition of capital punishment against legal challenges.
Yeah.
That's in Alabama.
You know.
This is the person that he just put in the position.
Right. You know,
That's
the
scary.
Attorney General Sessions.
Yes.
He had legal issues because the court had told him he needed to turn over some stuff.
Exactly.
At the time when they appointed him.
Let's not talk about that because that is so. You know, what I'm saying is all I want to do is be a part of the trending topics to let people know that I know, and therefore I'm going to tell you. It may not seem like a lot of weight, but it does have weight in, our everyday lives.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that has to happen, and this is one of the things that we do at Healthy African American Families, is that you have to begin at the starting point an education. Because what we call bi-directional learning opportunities, you have to begin to have a little place where people understand how this impacts you in your community.
Right.
Because oftentimes people just don't know.
Right.
They don't know how this is going to play out down the line.
Right.
They only hear about it and what the news gives you in little spurts.
Right.
They don't know what this really means, and so they don't know how it's going to play out to their community down the line or how it impacts my family and my community. So by having shows like the Raymond Hall Show and having social outlets, what does it mean and what do I do? Because what happens is we get paralyzed by all this information and we don't know how to give a driving force. We don't know what to do.
Right.
So I just get handicapped and I do nothing.
Right.
So we need to begin to show what we need to do in little spurts so that we can get activated and bring about some type of change.
Yes.
Well, there was a subject that we were talking about right before the show started, and it's so monumentous, but it's typical of what goes on in L.A. I read an article. It was talking about this lady that wrote a book about the justice system all the way from 1771 all the way up to the 1960s. And she was saying that it touched on what you were talking about. Here in California, we got more people incarcerated, and they designated it, designed it that way. Now, one of the things that we were talking about was these military drones in South LA.
That's the next trending topic. That's the next, and that's 2 days.
Really?
That's the next trending topic. After we talked about the 55 judicial positions that have been, you can read that in Vanity Fair.
Okay.
And also the game of drones, how the LAPD quietly acquired the spy birds. That's the name of them, the spy birds.
So these are military drones.
That's right. Okay, I Googled it, as I say. And another thing is that make sure to grab your pen and paper, because during our broadcast, we're going to be giving you some information and some numbers, and we want you to write it down.
Okay, thank you for that.
No, let me just further to add injury to insult. I was sitting in my bedroom in the morning, and I was watching the news, and I heard it, and I was so appalled because I in the community hear about a tremendous amount of information.
Right.
I did not hear about this. And Karen Bass is on my thing, and quite a few other people, and I'm sure that we get a lot of notices. Why did not we get a notice about this?
Right.
Why?
Why did the mayor not give us notice about this? Why we not? I'm not saying that it didn't get trended somewhere, but as a community serving agency, I felt like I should have got some type of notice in our email blast about going downtown to talk about this. It was on the news.
It says
I saw it on the news.
You saw it on the news.
I saw it on the news, but I did not, like you said, we get paralyzed with information. I did not put the connection together that they were putting these military drones
That's what it said right
over the houses in South Los Angeles.
This what happens all the time in our community. So what happens is when we don't show up downtown
at the meetings,
hearings,
we have to go to the meetings.
When we don't get to the hearings, it gets passed.
What happens when we go to the hearings?
So when you get hearings, you get to vote against these things. And that's what happens on the west side about planes flying over or whatever happens. So these drones will end up in our community, and those invade your Privacy Act.
Right.
So we need to be on top of this because they can have surveillance cameras. They can take pictures. They did not pass in Sacramento.
It says LAPD wants to start surveillance drones. Okay, 2 days ago. Since then, the LAPD has left the drones locked in the office. Effort to add military-style drone technology to LAPD's VEST. Safety Committee approved plans by the Los Angeles is
so. Let me just add this really quick. So the way that they get community buy-in on this is they'll say, well, because it's only going to be for tactical issues. It's only going to be but what they don't say is they'll use tactical issues when they'll say gang violence or this and that.
Right.
But they'll use them for a whole lot of other things. It's the same way. I have a picture on my phone that I can share with you about the military vans, military armored trucks going down Central Avenue.
When?
Now, just the other day. Now, this happens often in our community, and it's so quiet. I'm gonna share this picture with you.
There was a incident in was it Nickerson Gardens?
No,
they had a big heavy police presence there, and the news is so not news.
Okay, now let's wait. Hold on, Mr. Hall.
Okay.
The thing of it is that we have to be more diversified in our news getting. We have to read more. We have to spend a little bit more time, elevating our minds. We really do. So you may not just get it from the news. You have to pick up a book and read it. Pick up the newspaper. You know what I'm saying? You have to do more than just
look at a television.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a tale of vision. Don't you get it? They're telling you their vision. So unless you want their vision,
I never heard it explained like that. Tell a vision.
That's what they're doing. So
I ain't gonna look at TV ever no more. But here's the one thing that I have found about that tell a vision.
And yes.
Significant news is on 3 and 4 in the morning.
The free channel of which I have. That's all I have is free TV. And on free TV, you know me and free TV. I love free TV. I have PBS. I have all the channels that Trump said he don't want me to have no more. That's free. Why? Why do you want to take PBS? It's the best thing, But the point is that yes, this information is right at the tip of your fingers.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we have talked about two things
Yes,
that
we have.
should make you want to get involved. That's
Absolutely.
for sure. Because when somebody starts flying something over your house and they can look and see what room you was in, there was some kids that got a $300,000 grant, and they enhanced the drone to fly over. It's called imaging, and they can tell exactly through imaging what part of your house you in.
Oh, these
through the
drones
heat.
can do it. No, it says it.
Yeah.
These drones can take still pictures. They can see where you are. These are high tech. These are high tech drones.
They're military.
They're
so anything
military.
that comes from the military, we know they pay money for the stuff that they have.
No,
okay?
these drones, you got to check them out. They are very high tech drones. They said they can take heat sensors.
Right.
They can find
So
out where
what do
you
we
are. So you really need to find out when the next hearing is.
Okay,
I
that's
don't
what we
have
need to
that
do. We need to
information.
find out what we're gonna
but
do is
we really
follow
need
up
to
here
find out when the next
when the
hearing
next
is.
hearing is.
Right.
You really need to hear
And
all of the information. And I'm not saying that it might not be good for certain issues, but we need to put our voice down and say, look,
When you can use it.
Right,
when
right,
you can
right.
use it, how it
you
can be
can use
used.
it. Yes.
Because I do believe that there's some things in our community we do need to govern over. Because I don't believe in all this unnecessary killing and stuff like
Right,
that.
right.
But there are things that necessarily we need to make sure we're governing and put down how you're going to use these things.
Correct.
Because there's some things that don't happen on the West Side that happen in our community all the time.
Right.
And it's because we're not at the table.
Okay.
So let's be at the table.
Let's
and
be
have
at the
that
table. We have to stay at the table.
All right.
And that's what we do at the Raymond Hall
So-
Show. We have a different conversation at the table.
At the table, that's right.
Just like the dinner table. That's where we all sit down
That's
and
right.
we have a beautiful meal together, and we come together and we agree to disagree.
Exactly.
sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's a wonderful way to wrap up our trending moment.
Yes.
Is with that we all gonna.
Well,
sit
thanks
down.
everyone for listening to me go on one about the trending moment that we're having, that
All
I
right.
am having, that I'm sharing with you.
Okay, so we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. And when we get back, we are going to be with our featured guests on preventing cancer. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Follow.
And we are back.
Welcome
that
back, everyone.
song
I
always
love that song.
moves
Ooh,
me.
it does. It does something to me.
Yes, it's that song that moves people past where they are to say, I've got to have a contribution in my life.
Yes.
Okay. We're here with Felica Jones. She's Director of Programs for Healthy African American Families, and she's going to be talking to us about cancer. And my mother passed in 1999 from cancer, and before that, I just had not paid particular attention to cancer. But when my mother passed, it was such a horrific event.
I know,
to
so
see
sad.
my
I
mother
know, my mom
like
had-
that. And so I was looking this morning, and it was saying that they had expected in 2016 for almost 190,000 new people to be diagnosed with these various cancers. And it went on to talk about that 31% of all black men are affected with prostate cancer.
Yes.
How many percent?
31%.
Double digits. That's too much. That's too
Okay.
much.
And then for black men, 15% is lung cancer. And then for colon and rectum is 9%. And then it goes on to talk about for black women, here again, for breast cancer is 32%.
Oh, my
African American
Yes.
women.
Yes.
That's like a third of us.
Yes.
And for lung cancer, it's 11%, and for colon and rectal cancer, it's 9%. Those are some
Those are
really,
alarming-
really
Staggering
alarming
numbers. They are
Yes,
staggering.
Absolutely.
You all there at Healthy African American families should be commended. Not only do you have distinguished careers that you could work anywhere, you're credentialed and all of those things, but you chose to work in the community. Her bio just blew me away.
Yes, her bio is Felica Jones is Director of Programs at Healthy African American Families too, a nonprofit community serving agency whose mission is to improve the health outcomes of the African American, Latino, Korean, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, and other minority communities in Los Angeles County by enhancing the quality of care and advancing social progress through education, training, and collaborative partners with community stakeholders, academia, research, and government. So they have a vast pool of partners, and that's a wonderful thing. Also, she views community partner participation research, CPPR, as a key method for improving community participation in research.
Now, did you all create the participation technique?
That model.
Approach?
Dr. Jones, Loretta Jones,
Oh, okay.
was the key person that developed that model.
Okay.
The original model was a community-based participatory research model, whereas a more top-down kind of model where you ask the community their input but not really share in total partnership. And so we leveled that playing field by bringing everyone as equal partners from the design, implementation, bringing their knowledge from the budget down to every level, and making sure that community's voice was an equal partner in that level.
I see why
so
you
That's
all
beautiful.
are so get things done, that people are looking to partner with you all.
Yes, they are.
Because of your successes and your approaches in the community. You all are so culturally aware of what the African American community and persons in the African American community are facing, because you all address them, and you do address them with dignity and honor.
Yes.
And when I started reading your mom's bio,
Yes,
and I just said, well, I guess it's true, the apple don't fall
Too far from the tree. Miss Loretta Jones, yes, she has a MATHD, is the founder and CEO of Healthy African American Families Phase 2. Her career as a civil rights activist, health policy advocate, and social architect has spanned more than 40 years. And this is the person that's the creator and the founder of the place that we're speaking of today, which is Healthy African American Families.
And we had her on our show.
Yes, we did. We had her here before.
About 2 months ago.
She came and sat at the table with us.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about prevention, treatment, and control of cancer in the community. Now, I see the 6 there. Is that SPA 6? Or
No,
is that
this is the 6th conference. This is the 6th annual conference.
6th annual conference.
So we've been doing this for 6 years. Every year we bring the conference back to the community. It isn't a partnership, and if you look at the top of our flyer, we have logos that are at the top. We are in partnership with Charles Drew University.
And the division of UCLA.
Charles Drew University is a division of science and medicine. UCLA, Access, and
Healthy African American Families.
Our Building Bridges to Optimum Health is our conference series logo, and some other community partners that are partnered with us, and the lay community as well that's on board.
Say your
now the lay
Building
from the
Bridges
to Church Holman United, the several other Methodist churches will be held at, and when I say lay people in the community, survivors, cancer survivors.
Cancer survivors.
That are in the community that have been affected, either advocates, people that are caregivers, experience other CBO, community-based organizations that are providing services in the community, have been part of the planning process to bring this conference about. So every year we put on a conference, and this is the 6th annual conference.
All right. Now, it's going to be at Holman United Methodist Church.
Absolutely. Reverend Stalls is amazing, and we always host a lot of our conferences at his at that church.
I like that church.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah, I like that church. It's not only is it big, they do a lot of work in the community.
They absolutely do. He's really serving the community as well.
Oh, and that's really awesome thing to know that we have churches that are serving the community. Holman United Methodist Church is located, you guys need to get your pens and papers or your tablet, 3320 West Adams Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90018. The conference will be on August 18th, 2017 from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And listen to this, there is free conference, breakfast, and lunch.
So all they need to do is show up.
Yes.
Well, they need to register.
You need to register. Okay, so where do you need to register?
So you can register at Eventbrite.
Okay.
It's at HAAF.eventbrite.com. .com. As you just email, you just go to that site, or you can call 323-292-2002, and someone will register you by phone. You can do either or.
Okay.
And we'd love to have you there.
Yeah.
We just need to. You can register on site, but we do need a head count so we can have the amount of food registered for.
Because they're having free. The word of the day is free. Free conference with breakfast and lunch.
And what we will do is we will post this flyer on our webpage.
Yes. On Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Okay, so people will be able to get the link and do it. So now, talk to us about the what is it? The prevention,
the patient awareness. The first thing is the patient awareness.
So one of the things about the conference and this whole patient awareness piece is because our community. We have so many people. Like you read the stats earlier.
Yeah, the stats.
And so for the African American community, Latino community as a whole, we are dying from this.
Right.
We have a lot of services that are very much needed in our community.
Yes.
We have people that are surviving as well, but we don't know a lot about how and where to go in our community. There are a lot of things that we are doing correct, but there are a lot of things that we are still in need of. So patient navigators.
Patient navigators.
We need to know how to do. We need to know how to communicate with our providers.
Yes, we do. What questions to ask?
Right, exactly. So at the conference for this is number 6. So one of the things that we've been doing over the years is to find out how do we communicate with our providers.
Okay.
So one of the beautiful things about our conference is we have doctors there. Our doctors. You'll have providers. You'll have doctors and providers. You have providers from CBO, community-based organizations, doctors at the table sitting with you. You'll have advocates, navigators. You'll have resources there at the conference. But the beautiful thing is most people in the community don't get to see doctors other than a doctor's office.
Exactly. This is a wonderful opportunity for people.
You get to sit at the table with doctors as well as policymakers that we get to have in the same room and communicate in a way that you normally don't get to do.
Now, what's a navigator?
A navigator is someone that helps you move through services and that, like, so when you go to a doctor's office or in somewhere in the community, then you're already in pain, right? Or you may be having some challenges. Right. Yeah. You ever call a phone line or something and you can't get through somewhere? Yeah. Or you go to a doctor's office and you're having difficulty. When you're in pain or you're having challenges, it's hard to get through these.
Yes.
You have a helper.
Yes, you have a helper.
You know, that's interesting because I've never heard that there is
there are navigators.
So that's what they call it now, navigator, like an advocate.
An advocate that's a navigator.
Is a navigator.
So they have these people that are at places that can help you navigate systems.
Okay.
And they call them health navigators.
That's what you do, Mr. Hall. Yeah, you're part of the navigators too.
I didn't know that's what it was.
Sometimes your loved one is your health navigator, right?
Yeah,
they help you navigate through systems, right? But now, so what they've done in a lot of health systems, if they pay people to be that health navigator.
Wow.
Right.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So,
so at the conference, we'll have panels.
Okay.
And you'll hear stories from survivors. You'll actually hear people that are patients that have survived. You'll also hear some from health navigators.
Right.
You'll hear we have doctors that are going to give you some new updated information about cancer.
Okay.
You'll also hear from the faith community that are providing space. We have a gentleman that just he's doing a lot around men.
Okay. Yes, men
prostate,
because the prostate cancer.
It's called the men's. Oh my goodness! It just left me. It's the men's health.
It's something about the men's health. What all the men need to be informed.
Men don't even know that they need. A lot of men need male breast. Male breast. Exam.
Exam. Okay, yeah, because the man has a mammary gland too. It's the same thing. The man has the same thing. So, like, men can get breast cancer. That's any kind of cancer, and it's just something that we don't know about. Prostate cancer is very prevalent
on a regular basis.
Yes, I
know.
Now
the VA talks about prostate cancer.
What do they say about it?
Well, they encourage people
You
to
can
get the
live with
test.
prostate cancer because my husband lived for several years. He was a prostate cancer survivor.
Yeah.
And with good treatment and a good doctor, you can live a normal life. But then they also have, things that people that have cancer and they have other issues that come along with that.
Right.
So what we need to do is have a conversation to let them know, the statistics.
Yeah. Well, so when they register, everybody needs to register now.
Everybody needs to register.
So
yes.
What is that?
Register
what is
by
that
phone. Register by phone at 323-292-2002 or register online at http://haaf.eventbrite.com. Go and register for the Prevention, Treatment, and Control of Cancer in Our Community 6th Annual Conference.
Mm-hmm. And this is so important.
It really
you
is.
absolutely must be in health to be able
Health
to
is
help
the first,
somebody
right,
else.
it is. You have to take care of
So
yourself.
we're going to make sure we post it on our platforms. And I can't say it like Mrs. Walker said, but
Right,
she runs them off Facebook and Twitter and somewhere else in the cloud.
And Instagram, yes, and just a good old traditional. We invite audience members if you'd like to come down to our studio and sit in as a studio guest. We do have the space for you.
Right.
We just want to engage with you and give you good, solid sound information from the Raymond Hall Show.
All right. So now people come to the conference, and how the advocacy. Is the advocacy just getting the word out in the community
or you
of
have your
events, or is there a structured advocacy program that you all have over there at Healthy African American Families?
We do advocacy. We teach people how to advocate for themselves.
Oh, wow.
Okay, teach you how to advocate for yourself. That's a good one.
We have things that we do, workshops that we do to show how do you advocate. And how do you partner up with organizations that already do advocacy work in the community? So, like, bringing awareness. We call it knowledge transfer.
Knowledge transfer.
Now, do you have a calendar for your upcoming training sessions, or do you have a date for the next one on the cancer?
Well, we don't have. We have the cancer groups meet once a month.
Okay, the cancer groups meet
They
once a
meet
month.
every month, and I don't have. Forgive me, but I don't have the date. But I can definitely give you the date. I think it's the third Thursday of every month, but I'm not sure. But I'll
we'll follow up on that.
And we'll put it up on.
And we'll
put it up
our page.
We have a cancer meeting. It's a planning meeting that they meet once a month that they do, and then they also have support groups for.
We need the support
We
groups.
have a support group that they have groups that meet for support survivors.
Cancer.
Survivor support groups, and also the same thing happens in the Latino community. That we have a sister group for Latinos.
Oh, do you?
They meet for the Latino, and we will have translation for the Latino community. That if you need translation at this conference, so language is not a barrier. If someone needs to come out for,
do you have
Latino
a big
population.
turnout for these for your groups when people come to people? Are they embracing it? Like, I'm going to tell my mom and dad
definitely.
about this.
We normally have about 250 people to come to this conference.
Shoot, I'm gonna go with 65.
Yes.
I don't. As far as I know, I don't have anything, but it's not a bad thing to know.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not.
These conferences are large scale conferences that people normally pay anywhere from $150 to $200 to go to, and we provide these conferences free of charge. If you have, we provide CEUs for
and I
nurses.
saw that about the 4. You get 4 CEUs for the nurses, and I thought that was really remarkable.
And normally nurses have to pay for that, so this is a give back.
They said it was pending. Is that in place?
It's in place.
Okay,
so we
normally
I'm going to tell all my friends to people in our community that otherwise normally would have to pay for that. So, we try to give back to the community in a way that is a blessing, and
you guys are doing
otherwise
a
they wouldn't get.
job.
Because community people don't normally get to have access to this kind of level of of education. You would normally have to pay for something like this, and we don't normally get to go to a place and hear real-time statistics and quality information like this, and then nor participate in a conference at this level. And so one of the beautiful things is, and then they get to hear, when you're a part of research, normally researchers take your research and they take it back. You participate. How many times have you participated in research and not heard back from the researchers?
It wasn't a good experience.
Exactly.
You said research to me, I'm headed for the door.
Right.
But it was a different thing.
Right.
There
So
in African American.
So one of the things that we make sure that when we do research in our community, that the research that you participate in is in your community, and the data that you participate in comes back. That's why we give these conferences.
Okay, that's
so
excellent.
That everything that we do, you get to hear the results of the research. You participated in it. You get published in the papers of it, and that the community then knows how it's going to be implemented down the line. Is it something? So one of the guys that participated in the research project. He actually wrote a grant for his men's cancer piece, and he got a grant to work with the veterans to help them get screened for cancer.
Oh, that's
so. Let me ask you a question. This is not exactly on the table, but it's not exactly off the table. You know, for years we've been hearing about things in our community, industry, utility lines, storage places that cause cancer. Has there been any study that proves that, or find it false? Are we more subject to certain cancers in certain communities in our neighborhood? I remember the thing with the peppers that everybody was all up in arms about. The peppers was burning their eyes and this and that. And at the same time, people was complaining about the peppers. Over in our community, they were complaining about those worn out utility lines. And they made a lot of noise and things like that. And people were saying that they opened them up more susceptible to cancer.
Well, they do have data on those lines. They do have studies on those lines. They are hazardous. When you have too many of those lines running through your community,
and it says that because
they do have an impact. I mean, you know, that is a statistical fact that they do have an impact.
Right. The fact is the fact. That's just like something I'm not going to say where I go, but right there is like within 20 feet is a cell line. You know, one of the cell poles, and it has hazard, a sign on it saying it's emanating something from it. You can't see it, but the sign is there. A cell tower. You know how they have the cell towers, and they.
Well, that's why they got to get permits to have it. They can't have so many within so many radius. You know, they have to. That's why before they put them up, they tell you we're going to put these in this community.
And you live right here, and it is telling you pretty much that this cell line has something that is dangerous.
Right.
But the beautiful thing about the conference though is you get to hear the latest information about treatment.
Okay.
The latest information about what you should be asking your doctor.
Right.
Okay.
How do you advocate for yourself about a treatment plan? What do you need to know about your cancer? You know, and how do you survive it? Because you don't have to die with cancer today.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You know, there is a lot of stuff out there to help you.
They have new treatments all the time.
And you know, mentally, like what do you do mentally about, you know, what does my family need to do? What do I need to do for care? How do I survive?
So how do you? I mean, apparently, some people feel fine until they go to the doctor, and the doctor say, well, you got cancer.
And that's why early prevention is important. Why the treatment, you know, like not just treatment. That's why early detection is important.
Right.
You know, getting screened for stuff early, you know, is so important. And that's one of the awareness pieces that we talk about.
Right, the community
often.
awareness.
Community awareness and having that dialogue, you know, making sure that our community is aware that we have to learn about
our bodies.
And
we have to listen
have
to
a
our
conversation
bodies.
and not being threatened or fearful about going to the doctor to get screenings. And so that's where our faith community comes in a lot. We go into the churches and do awareness things in the churches and give out information at the churches, and they do screenings.
Right.
Partnership with Charles Drew University and UCLA, and they come to our office a lot and do work at the office around cancer and diabetes, a lot of different health issues. But for the Cancer Project, they do it at the various churches, over 100-some churches in South LA.
Really?
Right, because we do it there at my church.
Yeah.
So, again, that phone number is 323-292-2002.
Where you can register to come to the event, which is going to be at Holman United Methodist Church, 3320 West Adams Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 9018, August the 18th, from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. And again, they will have free breakfast and lunch.
So they're encouraging
They're
everyone
encouraging you to
register.
come out. Yes, register and come out and spend the day.
And if you've never come to one of our conferences, I'm telling you, they're amazing. We have wonderful raffles. We have good, speakers.
Yeah. I'm going to make it a point to come. I don't know what the 18th on is. The 18th on
It's always on a Friday. Our conferences are usually always on Fridays.
Okay,
There's ample parking. If you're on the bus, the bus stop is right in front of Holman.
Right.
The Adams bus is right in front of Holman. Right. There's ample parking. We always have good food. So it's always a good
play.
day. Yeah.
Now, what else did we have other than
the next thing we have up is the California Women's Law Center. We talked about that last week, and that is in Venice Community Housing, free legal housing clinic for all beach cities. And this will be taking place on July the 19th, on August 19th, and September 16th from 10 to 12. So that's an upcoming free clinic for anyone that needs information regarding housing.
Okay. Now, we covered public awareness, and the second segment was on community advocacy. And what did we skip?
We didn't skip anything.
We didn't? Okay.
No, so we're going to talk about treatment. We didn't talk about treatment, the different treatments that, pretty much when you go to the conference, that's where they're going to go over, telling you about the different treatments that are out there for you if you are ever diagnosed with cancer. So,
I'm going to encourage everyone, because the numbers again are striking.
Yeah, they are.
31% of African American men were expected to be diagnosed with cancer. That's 1 in every 3.3 persons.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just to break it down.
And from what I understand, it's no one symptom that you can feel and say, I need to go. This is, you just need to go.
You need to go get screened.
And as for women, I will not dare try to speak from that perspective, but it's just really alarming to see the numbers are just as high for women.
I mean, if you were to really ask, when we do our surveys and stuff, if you literally 1 in 2 families have been affected by cancer.
Wow.
Or diabetes.
We're at the top of every health disparity. If you
we
talk
are.
About.
Right.
So we really need to be on top of this. I mean,
Well, what is it that we're...
I have 7 employees in my office, and 5 of them, included 6 of us, have had somebody in our family die of cancer, or somebody's affected by cancer right now.
Yeah, me too. My mother was affected by cancer, so that means it's directly...
This is a serious problem in our community. And so we really need to be aware. We need to understand how to communicate at your doctor's office. What do you need to be doing? And how... because a lot of times we don't know, especially if you're on managed care, insurance. Right. A lot of times we don't know that there's slings that they say you're not able to get because of your insurance thing. Right. But your doctor can write that prescription in a certain way to make sure the insurance company pays for it.
Right.
Now that's good information.
We don't know how to advocate for that.
We don't know how to advocate for ourselves.
So we need to be able to know how. We need to have that. We have power.
Yes, we do.
We just need to know how to make sure that we implement that power.
Use that power.
So, we learn about those at these kind of conferences.
Right.
We learn,
Okay.
because we're talking to doctors, and doctors are able to tell us what we know how to do.
Right.
So we need to be able to say, and then there's insurance companies that come to this, and they're on the panel, and there's policymakers that are at the panel. So you need to be able to say, these are some of my questions. I have cancer, or I have somebody that, how do I advocate for this? How do I do this? Because until you ask, you never know.
Exactly.
So
you have to ask the
now
right
you
questions.
talk in the flyer. It talks also about prevention. In prevention, is diet a part of the prevention?
Yeah,
there's
always
the diet.
Diet, exercise. Proper sleep. There's your mental health is important. Yeah, mental health.
So is green foods as opposed to the bright colors like the red in watermelon and the yellow in cantaloupe? What
you have to have a
they
balanced
found out
diet.
What food is better than others? That
they have a lot of information about what is good healthy eating. Balanced
versus
diet
non-good.
versus what could be more harmful.
Right.
There's all suggested foods of what's
so
good
my
for you.
Doritos is not on the list.
Exactly. Those are, you're not even supposed to have anything to do with.
That's true.
Excuse me. Pardon me. You should be eating some fruit in place of the Dorito, Mr. Hall.
That's true.
Well, that's on the hypertension side.
Okay, exactly.
That's sodium.
But that's in there too. All that salt. That's just a whole like my brother talks about Krispy Kreme. I'll be like, I'm going to get a Krispy Kreme donut. He said Krispy Kreme donut is like just putting some sugar in your hand and just. I'm like, no,
that's diabetes.
I know that's diabetes.
We can talk about stroke, diabetes, and hypertension, all of that.
Right. So see, that's the stuff right there that you need to understand.
That's what I'm saying about the illness. I'll tell you something that's really, really strange. Before this transplant, I never cared anything about sweets. I could pass, except a German chocolate cake. I could pass up sweets all day long. It never affected me. Now, please don't put me in a room with no donut, cupcake.
Just the body can't process it. It's too much.
You want it, huh?
Yeah, I want it. I mean, I still have strength and move away from it, but it's really, really interesting. Well, look, we are so happy to be here with Felicia, and you know something? Having you here is like having the family here. So we understand why that family is in the name. Healthy African American family.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it is a fabulous thing. And Mrs. Walker and I, we always enjoy our time when we go down to their office. And food, good food
and
seems to
they
follow.
always feed us, and it's always a pleasant atmosphere, and it's a really good place for each and every one of you that is in the community to just come down to Healthy African American Families and experience it. And I'm sure that you'll get some very good, vital information that you can use and or tell someone else about.
Now, they're planning a veterans event.
Oh, yeah.
Community veterans event.
Right.
And so I'm going to mention that because that's something that's close to my heart. But there's other things that they're doing as well. So I don't want this time to run out. We've got a little less than 8 minutes. I don't want this time to run out without talking about some of the other things that you can do. So first of all, give everyone the telephone contact number there at Healthy African American Family.
323-292-2002.
Okay.
And we're open Monday through Thursday from 9 to 5, and on Friday from 9 to 2.
Okay. Now, what are some of the services that you all?
So everything that we do is a community-based research, and we don't provide any direct services, but we are resource database.
Right,
so
resource database.
If people are in need of some resources, we will provide. We turn no one away.
Okay.
So we definitely want to make sure we connect people with people always.
Right.
That is we are a Healthy African American Family. So we're going to definitely, if you are in need of something, we're going to definitely make sure you're connected. Okay. But our goal is to make sure that people, what we call bidirectional learning. So we're going to make sure you're connected with knowledge of the needs of the community. And that we don't use the word empowered because we know that people have power when they come to the room.
Right.
That we are making sure we're redirecting power so that if you need something and you don't have it, then we're going to redirect that in your direction.
Yeah. Now, I want everyone to pay attention to what Director Jones is talking about. You'll be able to view this broadcast anywhere in the world. There are virtual bridges, and those virtual bridges are virtual bridges of service. That's what we here at the Raymond Hall Show is about. Our broadcast platform is a virtual bridge for you to hear and share information around the world. Now, two things quickly. We heard a couple of weeks ago from the second vice president of American Legion Post 109. It's a faith-based post, and they're going to be having their meeting sometime this month, later this month. But go to American Legion Post 109, get involved. You don't want to just be in Post 1000. That's somebody want to get in the American Legion, but they don't want to declare a post. Declare a post. Let your name, let your support count. And the other thing that I want to mention is I want to definitely mention Estelle Van Meter Multipurpose Center. And I want to ask everybody to do something a little special. I want you to look up Estelle Van Meter Multipurpose Center. I want you to look into what all they do and who they do it for. And I want to say there's politics at play, but I don't know whether there's politics at play. I just know sometimes there's a change at play, and we don't get all of the information, so we think that it's a more political move. So don't listen, in this case, to Raymond Hall. Check it out yourself. Yes, check it out yourself and give your support. A multi-purpose center says that it is there for multiple purposes.
Exactly.
It not only serves the senior community, but it serves the young people. It feeds people. It offers programs in that community.
Yes, sir, it does.
So make sure that you give some attention to Estelle Van Meter.
Yes, Estelle Van Meter Multipurpose Center is at 7600 South Avalon Boulevard, Los Angeles, California.
What's the number?
The number is 323-753-9931.
What are the hours of operation?
And the hours of operation are from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. And then we also have an extensive calendar here that you guys have to come over and take a look at us. We're right across the street we're on the backside of Fremont High School. Right there on the corner. So that's your.
So we've got about 2 minutes left. In your closing minute or so, do you have anything else you want to?
I wanted to throw in one more thing with the special groups for services, HAAF program manager and regional coordinator. They're going to be having an event coming up as well on the 10th. And it's from 3 to 7, and it's for information on job employment. So take a look at that.
I know Hopics over there, 5715 Broadway, very well. I know you all know them.
And their number?
Veronica,
exactly.
Yes,
Call Veronica at 323-432-4399.
Well, I don't know if they're going to get to Veronica.
But you might not get to Veronica. I didn't know that was inside.
Veronica Lewis.
Tamara Jackson.
Yes. But they do a lot of good work over there at Hopics, 5715 Broadway. And they do exceptional work over at Healthy African American Families. I am just elated to have you in this studio. We're going to have to do this again.
Yeah, we have to have you guys.
And when we do it again, this time we're going to talk about community issues. We're going to talk about drones, and we're going to talk about some other things. We're going to make a connection between Donald Trump and his 55 appointees, and Sessions want to roll back and roll people up in prison and fill them up again for his private prison.
Yes, we really need to have that conversation.
We have so much to talk about.
A different conversation at the Raymond Hall Show.
At the Raymond Hall Show.
Yes.
So, our time is just about up.
And you can follow us on Facebook.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. And Ms. Walker?
Yes, you can follow us at the Raymond Hall Show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And we look forward to having a different conversation with you next week, 2 p.m. Standard Time, Morris Media Studios, Leimert Park, California. Thanks so much.
I would not be here today if it were not for the people who sit to my right and to my left. Even though the show is called The Raymond Hall Show, this is the People's Show.
It's the People's Show.
And if Mrs. Errecca Flynn Walker didn't work with me daily over many hours to help me and to direct me and to introduce me to some things that helped the show to grow, the show wouldn't be what it was. And if it wasn't for healthy African American families in the community,
right in the heart of the community,
we, the community, would be malnutrition.
Yes, we would.
When it comes to cultural awareness.
Thank you so much.
So thank you. Tell your mom thank you.
I will.
And we hope she gets better.
Thank you.
This is Raymond Hall at the Raymond Hall Show, and we will say goodbye and see you next week.
Good afternoon. Ta-ta.
Service and tune in to the Raymond Hall Show, a different conversation. Thursdays from 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on MorrisMediaLive.com. Be sure to follow the Raymond Hall Show at The Raymond Hall Show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.